Bruh, is this thing even working? Okay. Alright, it looks like we got something here. We're gonna figure out if it works later or not, but... So, hello everybody. I obviously have been away for quite some time here. I think my last big one here was, man, maybe March 2020? Let me mute that. March 2020-ish, I think, was the last time I really got a little serious about the live day trading. I definitely stopped because, man, back then we were moving into the house. I mean, I was getting anything and everything ready, and since then I had maybe close to 4-ish months that I was trading without doing the live day trading, and I just kind of stuck with it. I mean, I started it back up again for a week or so, and I was like, just not really feeling it, didn't want to do it, so I just kind of stopped doing it. And then, man, a year and 9 months passed, and here we are now. I'm just kind of circling back around, kind of want to give some updates and whatnot. And I mean, a lot has changed. Certainly a lot has changed since I had last been doing this live. I mean, it's constant improvement process. I mean, everything is changing, so... But I mean, I have been here every single day. I haven't skipped a day. I haven't skipped anything. I mean, taking vacations and whatnot every now and then, but I have been here, and I've been still working just as hard as I always have been. So the first thing I kind of want to do is I just want to go over my new spreadsheet here. It has changed a ton. I just kind of cleaned it up pretty good here, made it look a little pretty, and now we got something good. So just quick run through of everything. Obviously you got your symbol, you got your type here. So these are the most, or I guess more so the type is the most important part here. So this is my OG entry. OG entries have different risk parameters, different size, different expectations overall. And then M1s and M2s, those are momentum adds. Got your numbers for your size, you got your profit target, your risk. Oh yeah, I trade options now. I guess I had been trading shares since I last did this, so I switched over to options. I guess overall I've seen success with it. The main reason I switched over to options is because I no longer have a margin account. I mean, I had to spend majority of that money, at least 90% of it, on housing projects, wedding, engagement stuff. I mean, honeymoon, you name it. I had to use it. So, but gotta find a way to trade. So options has been the way that I needed to go here. So maximum favorable, maximum drawdown. I got your out price. Obviously the math and everything is done here to give you your net gain. I mean, pretty much the same stuff as it was the last time, but the newer things here is I have R dollar, and you'll see TRR. This is trade R. So the difference between these two here is trade R is the distance from my in to my risk. So here I have 10 cents of trade R, but that has nothing to do with actual dollar amounts. So my if you hear about the term R all the time and everybody sets their own R, well, I had never done that before. So somewhat recently, I guess a month or so ago, I started separating the two. So this kind of shows performance of the trade. So for every 1 unit of risk I risked, in this case, I got 1.2 out of it. Maximum, I got 2.2 out of it. But when it comes to actual hard dollar terms, I was only risking, see the R at risk here, so I only risked about 50 bucks because my R is going to be 100, and then overall I only captured 0.2, 0.3, whatever, because the problem with trade R is it doesn't actually tell you anything about your size. It doesn't tell you consistency. So this is kind of what I've been experimenting with in the meantime. So far I like it a lot. It's a good way to kind of get a little more detailed into your trades and make sure you're being consistent. Shows performance, shows consistency. So then we got the percent of the move captured. Usually with options, I find if I hover around 50%, that's kind of the ideal scenario, because you want to scale out. I mean, you can't predict the top and just want to get out at the top. Obviously, there's going to be trades where I'm a little higher end, where it may or may not mean that I just flat out got out as the trade was most profitable, and whether or not it went higher or lower is something else to be said later on. But 50% is kind of what the gold standard for me is. So I got the losers, the winners. If it hit my profit target, I have ads. So in this case, this Amazon trade had one momentum ad, so they both get tagged 1. This QCOM down here had 2 momentum ads, so it gets the 2. We have my compliance, my usual following my rules. What mistake did I make? There's a different list much later here. And then I have a little extra box here for finished, if the trade is finished or not. That not actually sure that I need that one anymore. I might revisit that one later. So a big change here in my trading is now I am tracking my actual performance, my A game, my B game, my C game, over different parameters here. So we got your daily setup, confidence. If it's a B setup, gets a B. If it's an A setup, gets an A. Entry criteria, just making sure I'm not FOMOing into a trade or super late or nothing. Don't have too many problems with it, but you know, everything occasionally pops up every now and then. Risk grade, whether or not I'm being consistent with my risk. Profit taking, if I'm following my profit taking rules. Cutting my ads for a loss, if I have to cut them for a loss. And then the overall exit grade on the trade. And then my overall trade grade. And then we got notes that I write in for each individual trade. And then I track emotions too. Emotions kind of, well, obviously get into your trading. Whether or not they affect your trading, you know, that's your own story, your own problems. But I do this because I want to know which emotion is causing me the most compliance issues. And more often than not, it ends up being fear. Discipline obviously runs into it. If I make any mistake, greed, or fear, it also comes down on the discipline aspect too. Usually. Sometimes it just, you know, it's a trade by trade kind of thing. It just sometimes matters, sometimes it doesn't. But fear being my biggest issue usually comes in the form of taking profits on winners much too soon, too fast. So that's always a work in progress. And then we got confidence. Anger usually doesn't affect my trading at all, except recently. Kind of a bad streak. You can kind of tell just by looking at the trade grades here. A couple of C's. You never want to see a C. But it happens. And then I have emotional notes, just in case something happens in there. This is my risk plan. Only on A++ setups will this be a 3. If not, it's usually a 2. If it's a B, usually goes down to a 1, but I haven't been finding myself doing any 1s lately. So it might just be it's either trade as usual or size up, just 1 or 2. And then I have, I guess this is new since my last stream too. This is my 10 most important variables to any given trade. It's specifically these 10 because I have gone over my best trades ever, and I found that these were the most common, most significant findings in those trades. So with every trade I take, if it ends up being a 10 on the score, 10 out of 10, then that's the one that I want to size up on. That's where this will change to a 3. But we got multi-day consolidation, value area edge, anchored VWAP significance, all anchored VWAPs under or above, all moving averages under or above, moving average reclaim, moving average coil, usually just the 9 and the 20. If there was a failed breakout the opposite direction, if there's a trend line break, and if there is volume significance. So then I have level importance of where I am trading around. It could be based off of a daily level, breakout level, could be volume profile level. These run 1 through 5 more often than not, just 3s, nothing super special. This is my setup location, given if the stock is in, let's see here. If I decided to take a trade on AMD, just say I took it long, this is kind of in the middle of the entire range. So I would call that a mid. Genius. Breakout or pullback. The setup condition. Well, not every breakout is the same. Not every pullback is the same. So what condition is it? I have a pullback continuation. I have a breakout pre-breakout, meaning into the breakout. I have a pullback failure, which usually means something like AMD here. So if I was going to trade this day, I would consider this a breakdown failure that got bought up, looking for that long. I have second day breakout trades, and then I have pullbacks that are at the breakout location. This is my long or my short. Obviously all the options I take are long because I'm buying premium, but sometimes you're buying puts, sometimes you're buying calls. Where was the close on the previous day? If the close was near low a day, because at the low a day. If it was kind of low, it gets the L. Kind of high, it gets the high. And if it's the high a day, it gets the high a day. So previous day high or low, this percentage here is where the stock closed the day before relative to the previous day's high or low. This is my most new one that I'm kind of experimenting with. I just want to see on average. I mean, I won't find out these results till probably at least after March. But I want to see if maybe my winners on average are usually 1% above the previous day high or low. Maybe. You just don't know. The previous candle shape, this is kind of hard to tell because I can't really show you that well. So this would be a pierce because it kind of pierces back into the previous day's range. This candle today is an engulfing candle. It engulfs the entire move. What do I got? I have a cover. This would be considered a cover because it covers the top end of the candle, but it's not quite an engulfing move. And I believe, yeah, and then you get your inside candles, which this might be an inside candle there, but straight and simple. GBNO, so green. Whenever I have my watch list on TradingView, I kind of have my own thing. So green means it has a great weekly chart. Blue means it has a great monthly chart. C is for cyan, which means it's one of the strongest stocks on my watch list, and P is for purple, which means it's one of the weakest stocks on my watch list. Day is if it's the day of the breakout. If it's the day after the breakout, it gets a 1, meaning there's already been a day of action after the breakout or after the pullback happened. And then I have my big checklist of just random variables. I'll just go quick through them. Previous day RVol, previous day average volume, previous day range expansion, previous day option RVol. Was it a pullback entry? Was there news? Were the moving averages in order? Are the moving averages on all lower time frames supporting? Is there a range break? Is there a huge breakout level? Is there a great weekly chart? Is the trade location around a major market profile area? Is there a high short float? Is the market not hurting the trade? Is the market clearly helping the trade? Were there big options? Is there relative strength and or weakness? Has there been consistent price action in the stock? Meaning, does it break out on a consistent basis and not fail? MACD day of cross, RSI break, RSI divergence, on balance volume divergence, cumulative delta divergence, and if there's a theme in the stock, and then finally the final star rating here. I believe it goes up to 34. So there are 34 because this also counts those previous 10 that I looked at. I give the stock volume rating 1 through 5. 5 is something like Apple. It just trades an absurd amount of volume on the 1 minute time frame. Usually I look, if it trades more than 25,000 shares a minute, I'll give it a 5. And it's kind of hard to tell, but between a 2 and a 1, it's more so if there is at least a few trades every minute. So like a 1 would be there's possibly a trade every minute, but I don't really trade that much anymore, so I probably won't ever be giving myself a 1 ever again. And this is where the trade location was. Was it a volume profile area? Was it the daily level? Was it a breakout level? Was the stock having a strong open or a weak open? Did the stock have significant RVol? Was there clear tape significance? Was there cumulative delta divergence on a lower time frame chart? Usually I look at the 15-second and the 1 minute for that one. The 1 hour, if the 9 and or the 20 moving average are right on top of price, I give the X. If it's not on top of price, I don't give it the X, and usually that means that the stock is a little bit overextended, and I don't want to trade it right at the open because I'd be expecting a pullback back into those 1 hour moving averages for the bigger, more significant traders to be getting involved. I look at option RVOL on the stock on the given day. I keep track if it has sustained RVOL, keep track if it has abnormal option RVOL, and then I list the actual RVOL, the time of day, 1 being the first 5 minutes of the day, 2 being from the first 5 minutes to the first 10 minutes of the day, and then 3, it goes in intervals of every 15 minutes. The market trend, see 5 is the market really helping the trade, -2 is the market slightly hurting, -5 would be the market is completely opposite of the trade, which I wouldn't trade that, so you'll never see a -5 there. This is day to expiration. Usually I just trade the weeklies. Sometimes I have to go out a little bit more. I'll get like a, I don't know, 10, 15 or something. This is just a little checkbox. If I got out at the bottom or the top, I don't want to see these ever be X'd, because generally it means I got out where I wasn't supposed to. But sometimes it just happens. And I check if it was a winner shortly after I exited the trade. So then we get into the actual stat detail review here. This is kind of a little to-do list, so that's not really nothing. This keeps track of all of my trades. Hit the pause button and you can just look at all these things that I'm keeping track of here. I mean, dollars, risk, in terms of hard dollars, in terms of cents, in terms of performance, in terms of the dollar amount that I'm trying to risk on a consistent basis given every single entry. I keep track of the stars, blah, 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 separated into winners and losers, ratios, blah, blah. And then I keep it in terms of my OG entries and then my momentum adds. And it's the same thing all around. If I had a second one, if I had a third one. And here I keep track of my emotions and my trade performance, grading myself A game, B game, C game. So let's see. Haven't been too hot lately. This week has been kind of a nightmare a little bit. I was doing super great the first week, and then this week it's just kind of falling apart. A little distracted. Happens. Just got to get my shit together. Emotional grades. Doing all right. You can see my daily setups. A game's usually pretty much always there. Entry criteria, I don't have too much of an issue getting into a trade when I should not be getting into a trade. Risk and profit taking, obviously biggest issues right now. Greed kind of being the one here. Fear, actually not too much of an issue. I've been doing pretty good with the profit taking aspect, but now the issue has become risk. And whenever you're up in your risk and you're not supposed to, you're being greedy, you're being undisciplined. So those are kind of my big two right now that I need to really fix myself with. Compliance, these are the common mistakes that I make here. Risk too large has been my big one. Settling for less intraday. Sometimes you just choose the garbage ones over the good ones and you miss out, and you pay for it in terms of not paying for it. This is the big boy here. I think this one needs a little bit of work here. This is for every single thing over here. This one keeps track of it. If it's a 9-star, if it's an 8-star, 10-star, 5-star, whatever. Trade hours, average loss expectancies, overall gains, average risk taken on the winners and the losers. I mean, it goes for all of it. The trade location, the volume, the time of the day, the total number of tags, the level rating, every single individual variable, the conditions. I look at my results based on how much the option contract costed. For instance, I rarely trade anything over $3. I like to trade everything in between the $0 and the $2 as it catches up to that 3. I judge my trades based on how many cents I have at risk. I'm not going to do a big stat review right now, but just kind of going through each and everything I have. Pullback risk, day ones. Trade performance based on how far against me it went. Trade performance based on how far in my favor it went. If the market was helping or not. Individual ABC games, emotions and trade grades. Final number ones. trade or performance based on how much dollars I have at risk on it, long, short, high day, candle size, how many ads, days to expiration, all of that good stuff. And then last, I have just individual charts. I'm still planning on adding some charts. It's just I'm not sure which charts I want to add yet. Overall trade P&L, cents P&L, R dollars P&L, trade R, performance. And then this recent one that I added here was dollars at risk crossed with net gain. So the blue ones here is dollars at risk. So I risked $62 on this one. I got $450 out of it. Risked $56 on this one. Lost $32. Basically, I just want to kind of judge and make sure, because with my entries, I try to keep everything at $50 at risk, so that whenever I add, if I get 2 ads on, I'll be somewhere around $200 at risk. But that's kind of the other thing that I'm working on too, is I don't know how I want to combine those trades to give me a better chart or view of my over total risk. But something to be done later. So that is it for the spreadsheet. If you want a link, send me something. I have also been doing plenty of blog posts. I shouldn't say plenty, but every week I try to do something. Every month I try to do something. Not every day anymore. So the big one that I just finished here was the yearly review. Definitely not going to go over all that one again. But I've been driving myself silly reading this thing over and over, just trying to compartmentalize everything that happened this year. But it's a good one if you haven't read it. I know it's going to be in the description there, but I also haven't streamed in so long here. I don't really know where I'm streaming right now. I think I'm streaming on my main account. I know it says chat disabled over here. I enabled the chat, but I don't know. For some reason, YouTube's messing with me here. Something with separate accounts, separate Google accounts. I don't really know what it is, but just kind of wanted to give a quick video here, update as to where it is, where I am, what it is that I'm doing, letting you know that I am still trading. I think I ended my last live stream at, I believe it was 4:51. Oh, let's see, there's about 250 trading days in a year. I probably traded at least 150 of them, probably closer to 200. So yeah, I'd probably be somewhere around, maybe live day trading 800, I'd say. Closing in on 1,000. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I think I've been trading for 5 years. 5 years, 5 months. Sounds about right. It's a journey, all right. It's a never-ending process of improvement. You just got to keep digging for edge, review everything, because you don't know what you don't know, and you don't know when you're going to find something. Just got to keep digging. But that's kind of all I got for now. I might do a live day trading day coming up here. I'll stream it if I can get these settings just right, and we'll see what happens. But if you watched it, thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, look at the description, send me an email, look at my Twitter, look at my blog post, give them a read, give me an email. Got some questions. I'm always open to talking about whatever, whenever, wherever. So thank you, and I will talk to you guys another day.